Okay, so this is your 5.7 reference angle and unit circle notes. So for an angle theta in standard form, the reference angle is the positive acute angle formed by the terminal side and the x-axis. So that's important. So knowing some tricks around this will be really, really, really helpful. Okay, so in quadrant 1, it's always going to be pi over a number. You know you're in quadrant 1 if it's pi over a number. Okay, in quadrant 2, it's going to look like this. Whatever your denominator is, 1 less than that times pi is going to be in quadrant 2. In quadrant 3, you're going to add 1 number from your denominator. And in quadrant 4, you're going to multiply your denominator by 2 and subtract 1. Okay? So knowing what quadrant things are in will make things easier, and knowing if it's positive or negative. All right, what quadrant is in? So my denominator is 3. 5 pi over 3. So I know it's not a number, pi over a number. Now, 1 less than 3 is 2, so it's not quadrant 2. 1 more than 3 is 4, so I know it's not in quadrant 3. So then 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So this is quadrant 4. Okay? 7 pi over 6. So it's not quadrant 1. 5 pi over 6 would be quadrant 2. 7 pi over 6, 1 more than my denominator. That is quadrant 3. For this last one, you need to get that coterminal angle, so you need to add 2 pi. So it becomes 8 pi over 4. So this is the same as 3 pi over 4. That is 1 less, 3 is 1 less than 4, so that means I'm in quadrant 2. Okay, when the terminal side of the angle is in standard position, it means it's on the x and y axis. We call this a quadrantal angle. Okay, quadrantal angle. And knowing these are going to be really, 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 really important. Okay, now we have to convert these degrees to radians. So 0, pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, and pi over 2. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to find sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent of these. And we're going to kind of use this to help us out. So sine of 0 is 0. Now, pi over 6 is 30 degrees. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is radical 3. So if I put this over here, it would be 1/2. Okay, this is radical 2 over 2. Okay, cosine, you just flip it. Just in the opposite direction. Tangent, you divide it. 0 divided by 1 is 0. 1/2 divided by radical 3 over 2. These denominators cancel, so it's radical 3 over 3. Divide these two, it's 1. Divide those two, it's radical 3. And that is undefined. Okay? Now cosecant. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So if I take this is like 0 over 1. If I flip it, that's undefined. This becomes 2. This becomes radical 2. This becomes 2 radical 3 over 3. And 1 divided by 1 is still 1. Now it goes in the opposite direction for secant. 1, 2 radical 3 over 3, radical 2, 2, and undefined. And cotangent, you could either divide these or take the reciprocal. I usually take the reciprocal at 0, radical 3, 1, radical 3 over 3, and 0. Okay? Now all you have to do is make sure that this unit circle chart is filled out. Make sure you know all the radians and kind of find the patterns. So knowing what is positive in what quadrant is super, super, super helpful. So remember, sine is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Okay, so sine is going to be positive up until here. Then cosine's positive in 1 and 4. So you know these. So 0, 1/2, radical 2 over 2, radical 3 over 2, and 1. Now, so this is 0, pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2. Okay, you can use your calculator to do the rest of them or recognize the pattern. 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 6, and this is pi over 2. Okay, now use your reference angle. So my reference angle is just going to be pi over number, so pi over 3. So the sine of pi over 3 is radical 3 over 2. But 2 pi over 3 is in the second quadrant, so that stays positive. So 3 pi over 4, reference angle is pi over 4. It's in the second quadrant, so radical 2 over 2. 5 pi over 6, reference angle is pi over 6, so that is positive 1/2. That's going to be a 0. And just continue that through the whole chart.